everybody here. And if anybody ever says there's not good things happening in Bucyrus City Schools, you tell them what kind of crowd we had tonight. It's really great to see you all here. Would you all please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening we're going to start our meeting out with the commendations. Oh, roll call. Sorry about that.
Mrs. Stone?
Here.
Mr. Stone? I'm here. Mr. Murdo? Here. Mr. Sheeter? Here. Dr. Johnson? Here.
Now we'll go to commendations.
Welcome everybody. I'm Superintendent Kimmel, and I've asked for some help in passing out accommodations tonight. So the first group up is the student artwork, and it was the we're going to start with the folks or the students that had their work displayed at the board office. If you came in down the hallway, you've seen the nice artwork. We appreciate that. That gets changed out about every other month. So we appreciate the art department in the district, and so I'd ask if whether it's Mr. Bauer or Mr. Colin, Mrs. Spranger, to all come up. I think Mr. Colin's maybe playing traffic cop in the parking lot right now. And I would ask you, when you come up and receive your certificate, after we call the whole group up, we'll ask you to go around and shake the hands of the board members and administration, and then we'll go to the next group and bring them up and do the same thing. At the end of the night, if you could meet out in the lobby area, we'd like to get a group picture with each of the groups that we're providing accommodations for tonight. So, Mrs. Spranger, Mr. Bauer.
Okay, Kendra Blizzard.
Come up here and stand. We'll make sure that you in front of the camera because you're on TV. So.
Okay, Melanie Burke. Okay, J.C. Clone.
She's coming.
Expected you, like you were so excited. Dakota Hendrick. Ian Ray. Okay. Keisha Weisenhower. Reese Ziegler.
These are our elementary art displayed at the board office. Look them around. You want to shake the hands? Reese, let's go down that corner. Look around. Shake your face. Congratulations. Mr. Bauer is going to present the middle school students whose artwork was displayed.
I have three middle schoolers, two of whom couldn't be here tonight. One is Ashton Sims, and the other is Jacob Middleton. And Derek Heinlein is here tonight, so come on up, Derek. Congratulations, Derek.
Okay, Mr. Cohen, do you have any high school students?
From the high school, I have several students here, but I have recognition for 3 separate things that we have. Out here in the hallway, I have some students recognized for that and for having their pieces chosen to be over here. We had an opportunity to participate with the Friends of the Crawford County Parks District community art display. That was over at Louisville Park. That was middle to end of November through December, I believe. And then we had another group over at MOESC, the Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center over in Mansfield. That artwork was displayed in their offices as well as for the All Boards Appreciation Dinner and for the Gorman Rupp Christmas party that took place over there. Those were up through November and December as well. So I have 3 different groups, but some of them do overlap. So for this board display here, Rita France, come on up please. Levi Spence. Thank you. And Neil Atwood. Thank you, Neil. And I'll call them all up here and we can do this all at the same time. For the Parks District, Melissa Newman. And Emily Howell. Emily Howell also had a piece of a couple of pieces over at MOESC for the winter display over there too. Thank you, Emily. For MOESC also, Amanda Taylor. Thank you. And a number of other students who weren't able to make it: Jesse Heimley, Hayden Hirschler, Dakota Rapp, Justice Parcell, McKinley Hargis, Tiffany Gray, and Ronnie Agler. Those students also had work in one or both of those shows outside of the district there. So, thank you. I told you, pretty quick there. I appreciate all the families coming and working through the parking lot out there too. It's busy, so thank you. Not done yet, no. You got my email. We talked about it. Thank you. All right, at this time,
We're going to let
Mr.
them.
Kimmel had something to say.
Yes, we're going to do the other 2 accommodations, and we're going to take the full groups out to get their picture taken.
okay.
So we're going to turn it over. We're going to have Mr. Sauter come forward, and he has 2 different organizations that he's going to be recognizing from the elementary school: Boys Council and Girls Circle.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmel. I'm proud to introduce a couple of groups in our elementary school that are helping to change the culture in our building. They meet during lunch and recess to learn skills in conflict resolution, anger management, and anti-bullying. They are the Boys Council, headed up by Mr. Adam Stone, and the Girls Circle, headed up by Miss Marie Stuckman. And we're going to go backwards here because ladies should come first. So we're going to go ladies first. If all the ladies would come up that are in there, and then we will introduce their names. Come on up, ladies.
Teaching something here. You're gonna have to go in my order, okay? All right. I have Samantha Bond, Layla Bussinger, Candace Caskey, who's not here. Samantha Chase is not here. Mackenzie Dye. Olivia Harmon. Cassandra Haycook. Katrina Haycook. Marianne Standers not here. And Brianna Zorn.
Okay, now if the boys could come up, please.
Alright, you're gonna have to go in my order, alright guys? Stand up straight. I don't think Yoshi's with us, but Yoshi Caldwell. Caleb Chat. Congratulations, Yoshi. Congratulations. Bo Foreman. Matt Foltz. Gage Hanna. Gage Hanna. Not here? All right. Zach Hoskins. Dalton. That's right. Dalton. Yes. Isaiah Wright. And Colin Remmel. Todd Spurlock. I don't believe he's here. And that is all.
Students and families, we're very proud of the job that you do as students and being actively involved in your education and making the school a better place. And we appreciate all of your hard work. Mrs. Stone, President Stone, gave a directive to the superintendent, me, during the January meeting that she wanted students present at our board meetings. So 41 students were recognized tonight, and this is obviously you guys should be very proud of the sons and daughters that you're raising. I know we're very proud to have them part of the Redmond family. Thank you for coming, and I would ask you welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go home and get your studies done because there's no 2-hour delay tomorrow. But we would ask that you meet out in the lobby for each of the individual groups to have a group picture. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Go right ahead. Find your way.
job. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Here, I'll take the coat out for you if you want. Oh, I'm used to it, trust me. It was good.
Thank you for having us.
Now the girls presenting back there are a little less nervous now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll head on down to our presentation to the board. Mr. Kimball?
All right. At this time, I'd ask Vicki Purvis to come forward with the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. They're working with our elementary after-school program, and they have a presentation tonight for the board.
I guess we're going to set it up.
Yeah, you can set it up right there.
Yes, let me tell you, when they walked in with all these people, they said, I thought it was just a few board members and it wouldn't be no big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. What they're going to do is present to you what they've been doing for the last few months with the elementary groups. With their project, we are going to regional competition on Saturday, hopefully to do very well, but even regardless of how it turns out, these girls have done a really great job with their projects. So I'm going to just sit back there and watch.
Our project deals with the after-school program, and we decided to call it Nutrition Exercise of Mountains because we took our first initial of each name and came up with something that stood for each of us. When we first started this project, we did research projects. We looked on the internet, health magazines, and even health books. We contacted Becky Pranger and Beth Constantine to see if we were able to set up our project with them. When they said yes, that we could come, we were planning on doing it with the 4th and 5th graders. Well, we started out with the 5th graders and then changed to the 4th graders. There were times we had 3rd grade too. Our goals and missions was to teach them endurance, strength, and flexibility, and easy ways to make healthy snacks. We learned we had to be very flexible with their schedules. Our purposes that apply to this project are the first purpose of the FCCLA, to provide opportunities for personal development and presentation for adult life. This relates to our project because it shows children that healthy eating and exercise is in everything and can be done any time of the day. It also relates to purpose number 2, to strengthen the function of the family and the family as a basic unit of society. This also relates to our project because they learned easy ways to keep their family healthy and doing physical activities no matter what they had to do after school. It also relates to purpose number 4, to encourage individuals as in development and helping to achieve global cooperation and harmony. This deals with our project because it shows them getting along in groups are very important. It also deals with number 5, to promote grading understanding in youth and adults. Our staff helped our students do their projects, even with our cooking labs. It also deals with purpose number 6, to provide opportunities for making decisions for assuming responsibilities. We hope that they will make the right decisions with healthy eating and exercising. Our skills that come from our FCS classes. They learn to preparation of food, the safety of cooking, and the easiest ways to read recipes, following the cooking and proper equipment use. Children, it also deals with the child development because it also shows that being healthy is easier when your mother was pregnant, when she was healthy when she was pregnant. And it also shows that keeping kids' nutrition is very important. When we had our meetings to discuss what we were going to do with the elementary students. Our task description was we was going to do healthy choices and exercise are the two important things to be fit. So we wanted to show them the two easiest ways to do this. Exercising comes in everything you can do, playing games, walking, even running.
While we were doing our project, we hit some of the national FCS standards, and they were ones that dealt with nutrition and wellness, and those were skills and practices required for food preparation. And then there was another one that dealt with wellness and parenting, which was good nutrition. And then we always made sure that we had a backup plan when we did our projects. We would always ask what would happen if we weren't able to use the gym, or we didn't have enough room. We were always worried about space because we had a bigger group of kids. If the group was too big, or the ceilings were too low, or the area was too small, we would go out in the hallways and line them up and do games that way. When the gym wasn't available, though, we got to use the Wii in the cafeteria. We hooked it up to one of the TVs that was down there. We used the hallways for our backup plan, and we used the Wii when the gym wasn't available. We played Just Dance 4 with them, which they really enjoyed. We had some cooperative partners, and they were Beth Constantine, Becky Pranger, and other teachers at the elementary school. Our project started on November 8, 2012, and it ended on February 28, 2013. It was supposed to be every Thursday, but there were some Thursdays where the elementary's after-school program had something else going on, and we weren't able to go. And there were some things we weren't told about, which we made sure we incorporated those into our plans as well. On Valentine's Day, the elementary school had a party, and we had a bigger group of kids, some of them that we had never had in our project before, but we made sure to incorporate them in our project, make them part of it too. Then we were helped out by many teachers. They were Miss Senior, Mrs. Kathy, and Mrs. Showers. We also had a student teacher, Aubrey Boyd, helping us too on a few of the days we were there. We had to make sure that we budgeted our money for the project. We used some of our money towards prizes that we gave the kids today on our last day of the program. We gave them jump ropes and bubbles, along with a certificate that said that they were part of our program. Then, when we did our cooking labs, we brought the items from home to help save a little bit of money for us. Or we would use the leftover food from our FCS classes.
Like Ms. Purvis said, we are going to present our project on Saturday at Pioneer. We hope to get a good grade and get a gold. We hope we've impacted the children in a positive way by giving them examples of healthy living to build upon as they grow and develop. We showed them games and activities they can use that needs little equipment. We also decided to show them healthy snacks that we could give to them that's very quick and easy to make. Our project is led by Brooke, Erica, and I, and we also were helped out by Taryn, who's also on our member of FCCLA. We also had very many other teachers like Ms. Constantine, Aubrey Boyd, and Ms. Showers, who helped us and volunteered with any kind of problems we had. They helped us figure those out. We faced many problems doing our project, but we overcame them. Like, for an example, Erica is allergic to peanuts. We did a healthy snack with peanuts in them. They're healthy ladybugs made out of apples. We used the peanut butter to help adhere the raisins to the apples, but Erica couldn't obviously be around the peanuts. so she could pass out the paper plates, the pretzels, or the apples to the kids. But when it came time to use the peanut butter, we put her off to the side and so she didn't get in trouble with that. We also had a space issue, like Brooke said. One time we said we were going to use the gym, but it turned out that it had basketball practice during that time. So we had to change all of our plans right on the spot. We decided one day to use relay races out in the hallways. The kids really seemed to like that. Another time we decided we would use the Wii, like Brooke said, for the Just Dance. We had a lot of fun doing this project, but if we were ever to do it again, we would really like to have more communication and cooperation with the after-school program. Like on the Valentine's Day where we had more students than what we thought we were going to have, or with the basketball practice. If we were going to do it again, the children really love using the Wii or doing silly activities like the trading stretch. We would use those again if we had to do it. But on the other hand, if we were going to do it again, we wouldn't use the healthy snacks because they did have a cooking club. For the participation, we really appreciated it that all the kids helped out. We decided on the last day to give them a larger certificate of like this, and give them bubbles and jump ropes. Also, on Valentine's Day, we decided to give them homemade Valentine's Day cards. Also, we have a few spots on here that are blank. We are going to fill those with we have one more day left today that we are going to put pictures up of the kids with their bubbles and their certificates. Thank you. We have books for you guys to explain more about what FCCLA is and what we do. Thank you.
You guys need to come around and shake everybody's hand.
Okay. Oh, I totally
Oh, I'm sorry. Overruled.
I really would like to say that it's our first year. A lot of our seniors graduated, none of our seniors have this yet. So we're just kind of trying out this year just to see what happens and how it goes.
Regardless of how they do Saturday, at least these three are gonna go down to the state conference, to see what all goes on, so they can see other kids' projects throughout the state.
Great.
We're building, it's in small gains, but we're building.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
She's a junior too. The clock over.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Robin Showers to come forward, and she has a short presentation on the Crawford County Mentoring Program.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Kimmel, and board members and administration staff as well. As the Crawford County Mentoring Program Coordinator, I want to thank you for allowing me to come this evening and share with you about the revitalization of the program. Through the hard work of Bucyrus Area Community Foundation and SPARK and Crawford County Economic Development Partnership, the Crawford County Mentoring Program is back. And currently, Bucyrus Area Community Foundation is funding this. Later on, it could be maybe Jobs and Family Services might be coming back on board too. The countywide mentoring program takes in all 6 county school districts, K through 12. Some school districts have been able to maintain their mentoring programs because that's what they wanted to do. Others would like to see it start back up soon. But then all 6 superintendents who I have spoken with, they are very supportive and want it back on board because it does make a big difference. Excuse me. Research has shown that students who are involved with an unrelated caring adult are less likely to skip school. They are less likely to begin drugs and alcohol use, and it improves student academic success and increases positive social interactions. I think, Aniston, you've been a mentor before. Anybody else in this room been a mentor before? Or worked with mentors? Probably in our little buildings that we used to have. Okay, so you know what that's all about. Well, that said, the power of mentoring is simple. It makes quite an impact, and it begins with that caring relationship a one-on-one adult with a student, fostering those skills and providing support. Excuse me. The result is, we hope, is a child who is more confident. And with that, the Crawford County Mentoring Program is all about one-on-one relationships between the volunteer adult role model and a student. And the focus is to establish as many mentor-mentee pairings as possible for students with at-risk behaviors. What do we need in a mentor? We need an adult who is considerate, personal commitment to students, good listening skills, good communication skills, respective individuals. Because as we know, we have all types of children in our schools. So we have to be accepting of their abilities and different points of view. And they have to have flexibility, openness, and empathy. So what is the mentor commitment? Presently, we're looking at a mentor who would come into the building one time a week during the course of the school year, every week, and one school period, which could be 30 minutes, 43 minutes, 46 minutes, or an hour. It just depends what the school would like to have done. It's at the school, and one thing I want to add too, sometimes the mentors come in at lunchtime, which is nice because they can sit down and have a meal together, and maybe Lori help out there too. Initial training, we are looking on to do ongoing workshops in support for the mentors, and the one-time initial training will be done by the Mentoring Center of Central Ohio, which SPARC and Bucyrus Area Community Foundation in 2020 has contracted with. The mentor will work closely with the building site coordinators. I've been around now to 50% of the school districts as far as talking to their site coordinators. Yesterday I talked with Ms. Light and Mrs. Devine about what they had done in the past, what they're currently doing, what they'd like to see happen. And I'm also now starting to hear about some adults here in town who are very interested in being a mentor. So the mentor will, like I said, work closely with the site coordinator to build that supportive relationship with the mentee. Now, we don't want the mentor to replace the parent, but we want them to supplement what the parent is doing, what the school is doing too. How does one become a mentor? Well, we will have an application. The BCI background check and FBI background check will be at the Sheriff's Department, which is at no cost to the mentor. And so that will help the schools too, so they don't have to worry about that. And our mentors can be referred to by a teacher, principal, a parent, another school staff member too. And we will match up the mentors based on their skills, abilities, and interest and gender. And we will have program evaluations, pre and post surveys, so that we can figure out, is this relationship making an impact on the students? And I'm in contact with the Central Ohio Mentoring Program, trying to find out what other school districts do. You know, we can look at attendance, we can look at grades. Should we be looking at test scores too? You know, those are done during different times of the year. Every school district does some that are the same, but then some do things that are differently done too. So still trying to figure that piece out too. Location-wise, I'm presently located at the county courthouse with 20/20 vision on the second floor. And we will soon be moving to which will be formerly known as the courthouse annex across the street. They're redoing that building. And so we'll be moving sometime in the spring there. So at this time now, I'm just beginning the groundwork to get things going. So by fall, we can really get in there to schools with mentors in all 6 school districts. So do you have any questions for me at this time? I do have a flyer for you that kind of encompasses everything I spoke about, including a phone number and an email too. So I'll hand those out. And thank you for letting me come to give my little speech here. You're welcome. Always good to get back into schools. I just can't seem to stay away. I don't know what's wrong with me. You're welcome. And by the way, our girls, Mrs. Purvis, they did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And the kids always look forward to that wee dance, let me tell you. And the snacks. And they always wondered what the girls were going to be doing.
Mrs. Purvis and girls, for presenting tonight. You guys are welcome to move on to the next portion of your night, or you're welcome to stick around for our business meeting. So,
I
up to
think
you.
we're gonna take that first one.
I can go there. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate those 2 hour delays. I'm usually at school.
Yeah, I know. I see your car there. Yep, I did my second round.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get down to the business items of the meeting. We have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 14th organizational meeting, the regular meeting, the January 24th special meeting, the January 30th special meeting, and the February 13th special meeting. Okay.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
That motion does carry. And do we have a motion to approve the treasurer's financial report dated January 31st, 2013?
So moved. Support.
Do you have any comments this evening?
Briefly, just wanted to highlight, you're going to see, as we get later in the meeting, there's going to be a resolution in front of you to approve the bond refunding. Ken Cashhill from RBC Capital Markets is our recommendation. He's provided us with up-to-date numbers based on current market conditions, and they've come in at $708,000 in savings. Again, to highlight, this is not money that's going to benefit our cash flow in any way, shape, or form. It's strictly going to benefit the community. In addition to that savings, we're knocking a year off of the maturity of those bonds as well. So it's a huge benefit to the community. We're hoping that number doesn't decrease any, but it's up to market fluctuations. We know the timing is now to do this. So we hope to complete that over the next month. In addition, we've got our RFPs out. We're taking a look at our banking services, property casualty and fleet, and kind of the next big push, aside from the bond issue, is the healthcare. We're going to look at companies for that, try to begin some wellness activities as well, and push that forward. It's a big part of our budget.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Brian? Roll call, please.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
And the treasurer's report is approved. We have a motion to approve the addendum to the agenda this evening.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
We'll go on down to our committee reports, legislative report. Adam?
Thank you. Dealing with, I think the big piece has been House Bill 59, the new budget building. Still working to kind of make heads or tails of it, but this idea of core opportunity aid seems to be the first real component to that. And thank goodness OSBA sent this formula that I still can't make heads or tails of. I don't know if you have anything to add, Ryan, please. I mean, you were calling it fluid. I called
Fluid is
it a
probably,
mess.
yes. Either one of those would describe
But
it.
the formula is such, and I'll just kind of give you an idea of what it is. Student aid equals $250,000 per pupil times 20 mils minus 20 mils times the district valuation per pupil. And the per pupil valuation that's being used is this 3-year average. Now the district valuation per pupil, there's no definition section of the statute that I've seen.
When it came out, it was based on last year's valuation,
So
so
it's last year.
everything's going to shift from what I've been reading. Of course, it's
Okay.
going to impact us based on our most recent that we've received.
Right. I think some of the things that kind of trouble me the most about that piece of legislation is under the choice provisions, the 2 new voucher programs. Effective fiscal year 2014, charter school funding. And this idea that the governor's proposal is going to eliminate the PSEO and replace that with this new College Credit Plus program. I guess I don't know enough about that. Ryan, if you, in your review of the legislation, do you know what College Credit Plus is?
I don't. No, I do not.
Yeah, that kind of bugs me at this point. But it also removes salary schedules for teachers from law as part of statute. It's an overhaul that I'm not sure that many people can understand at this point. I mean, it's a whole new school funding formula.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
The way a lot of treasurers have put it.
And it's interesting from the standpoint that the law is so ambiguous that I think we're going to have litigation in order to determine what it means, because there's so much left for interpretation in the statute.
I think that's a prevailing sentiment until things are challenged.
Yeah.
When I said fluid, it seems like a lot of the articles I read, there's going to be a lot of challenges to this. Nothing is set in stone. I would be shocked if it arrives July 1st as discussed presently.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's my report, if you could look at it, Council.
Well, thanks. I'm gonna leave here that much clearer about that one.
Yeah. Try reading this thing.
Athletics. Mr. Schiefer?
Well, our winter sports season is quickly coming to a close. The Redmond boys basketball team will play in the sectional final tomorrow night versus Ontario at Lexington High School. Tip-off's at 6:15. Tomorrow during school hours, you can still purchase from the athletic department pre-sale tickets for the game. Tickets are $6 for adults, $4 for students, and if you wait till you go to the door, they'll be $6 for everyone. So I'd encourage you to pick your tickets up before going to the game. The Redmond girls basketball team finished up their season with a tough loss this past Saturday to Winford in the sectional final. The Lady Redmond were 8-5 to finish third place in the NCC Black Division. So congratulations to the ladies on a good season. Congratulations also goes out to Nathan Johns, who competed in the district wrestling tournament at Bowling Green State University this past weekend. And finally, on congratulations, Taryn Gathright placed 17th in the 100 breaststroke at the state meet in Canton, Ohio. Now, with Taryn's accomplishment, by going to the state meet, she qualifies to be placed on the athletic wall of fame. And I think any athlete that competes at Bucyrus High School, that's the ultimate for them, is to get their picture up there. So, quite an honor for Taryn. And two upcoming meetings. The Athletic Boosters will be meeting on Monday, March 10th, and the Athletic Council meeting will be on Tuesday, March 18th. And as a final thought, in the coming months, the Athletic Council will be bringing some maintenance items with recommendations to the board to discuss and consider pertaining to the athletic complex. So, some things for us to make some decisions on coming up. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Pioneer, we had an interesting meeting. We had a couple of students share their senior projects with us. And the one that I found very interesting was a cosmetology student who brought her little head in and showed us how to do dreadlocks. I mean, it was very interesting, and that is what she wants to do. She wants to move to a bigger city and do nothing but dreadlocks. So it was interesting. Last night we had the Ralph Phillips Partner of the Year dinner, and Pioneer's Partner of the Year was, I can't think of what their name is now, but it used to be Shelby Tubing. There you go. That's it. That's it. So, and that's the end of my report. Oh, and I guess Mr. Murdo.
Yes.
Wellness.
You skipped Dr. Johnson.
I'm skipping everything.
That's a little off target.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of dreadlocks. Exactly. I'm thinking, how long does this have to get? Or how long does Paul have to get?
That's a good alternative for me, you know? You do it down.
You could. She was amazing. They do Yes, student achievement.
Well, as you know, the state did release the report card data for the past year, and Mr. Kimmel did share with us those results. And I'm not sure if he's going to mention that during his report, or communication we got from him and went to all staff, did a pretty good job of reflecting that. And then, while we're on the topic of student achievement, I do want to commend Mr. Burke, soon to be Dr. Burke, for successfully defending his doctoral dissertation this week at Bowling Green State University. He represented himself. He represented himself and our district very, very admirably. So congratulations.
Did he have to do this in front of you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was a guest. I was a guest.
Oh, you were a guest.
But you haven't lived until you got your doctorate and had your kids say to people, well, he's not a real doctor. He doesn't really help people that much. Yeah. So that does conclude my
Okay, I'm going to put this like this. Mr. Murdoch, wellness.
Yes. Well, the February meeting was canceled due to school being canceled, but since our last meeting in January, they did have a meeting around the 18th of January. A couple items to point out. In regards to the backpack program, there were 140 kids that participated, and they've made the switch from backpacks to plastic bags. That's an increase of from 120 something to 140. And so in the spring, Six Nations, which is a leadership group for the football team, is going to help pack the bags for the backpack program as part of their community outreach. And finally, scoliosis screening was completed over the last couple of weeks or so. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Murdoch.
You're welcome.
And Elizabeth, save the best for last.
I feel so special. Well, I talked to some of the students this week at school, and I got some of their inputs on what they think about things going on in the school and stuff like that. And one really good idea I heard from one of the students is they were thinking about what if we were to shut down the snack bar maybe once or twice a week, maybe just once a month or something like that, and have like a healthy food line where they have fruits with like fruit dips and stuff like that, to try and motivate some of the students to eat healthier, because we notice a lot of times students will just not get lunch, the meal, and they'll just go up to the snack bar and get cookies and chips, and that will be their lunch. I had a conversation with Miss Pennington about this, and she said that it would be an idea to look at for next year, maybe to start once a month to start out or something, just to see how it goes. Something else I heard from a lot of students is that during lunch they like to have hot sauce because they love putting hot sauce on everything.
And that was correct. We had that out today, so.
When it comes to like the dress code, I heard a lot of opinions on that. They feel like their individuality is constricted because from the time that we start in elementary school, we are told what we can and can't wear. Some of them are wondering, thinking along the lines of, I come to school to learn, I don't come to school to look good. Some people just wake up and go to school. And as far as like the holy jeans, they were wondering if we could possibly transfer to following like the jeans rule, the shorts rule. We're allowed to show skin so far with the shorts. What if we are allowed to have holes in our jeans, like no further than where we would be allowed to have shorts? Some of other things was with the shorts, they're very excited that they can wear them really soon. And they're also wondering why exactly they're not allowed to wear them all year, because we don't go outside and we're inside most of the time. And if they feel comfortable wearing shorts to school, then maybe they could wear shorts to school. They don't see why they can't because they're indoors. A lot of students feel as things aren't being consistently enforced. Some students will wear something and someone else will wear the exact same thing, but student A won't get in trouble, but student B will. And that's pretty much all I have for as far as the dress code. Some things that are coming up in the school is we have State DECA coming up. That's March 15th and 16th down in Columbus. I know the DECA class is working really hard. We have a couple groups of people working on writing a 30-page paper because they didn't qualify when we went to districts. So they're working on a paper so that they can go to state. Spring sports, as Mr. Schieffer had commented, are getting ready to start. I know track is getting ready. Baseball, I saw them getting their uniforms and stuff passed out. OGT is coming around very quick, like March 11th through the 15th. Students are preparing for that. I know a lot of the students who have passed, like me, are very excited to get to sleep in the whole week. So that's all I have for my end of the deal.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, we'll move ahead to our personnel certified staff items. Mr. Kimball? Oh my gosh!
You and
I
I are the same boat tonight.
I'm not gonna look at that. You're gonna have to. That's it, I'm done.
I appreciate his efficiency, but let's stick with the script.
I'm not gonna look at this, Paul.
Presents.
You're right. Let's go to the superintendent's report. Make it short.
All right. President Stowe, members of the board. That's my no. As Paul alluded to, while we had our individual school report or data back for quite some time, what was released yesterday or on Wednesday was the ranking of two important calculations. One is the performance index, and the other one was a value-added ranking, which I don't recall this type of ranking coming out in the past. Now, I know they've always had value-added for grades 4 through 8 in reading and mathematics, but the ranking that was released on Wednesday is called the 2012 Value-Added Rank, and we ranked 314th out of 832 LEAs, and there was two different scores associated to that. One was a value-added gain index, and the other one was a value-added gain score. We had a positive score, which was good. Ranked second in Crawford County as far as the rank, and so we were very happy with that growth. And that's the neat thing about value added is that what we're asking teachers to do is to meet kids where they are and grow them. And that's the neat thing about the value added report, which has really, quite honestly, bailed us out over the years with regards to our report card. We still want to see improvement with the performance index. We slid at the elementary by a couple points this year, down to 88.6, which we know we can do much better than that. But the secondary building increased by over 4 points on their PI score this year, and that takes into account every student's score, no matter where they scored, on all the assessments, state assessments. So the PI, I think, is a very good measure of whether or not you're making progress in your school district. Our district score increased, our secondary score increased by 4 points, which is unheard of. The secondaries, or the elementary took a step back this year with our PI, and hopefully through some important work of our teachers and our building leadership team, that's going to turn back around and show positive gains. So that really summarizes the report card piece that was released this week. Another important thing that we've been involved in is gathering feedback from our staff and our community on 3 important issues that we're dealing with in the district right now. One is finances, second one is school safety, and the third one is the realignment, possible realignment in our district. If I could just highlight a couple of the things in each of the areas. You'll be receiving tonight, actually it's included as part of your board documents online, all the feedback from our staff and our community in a consolidated form. So you're going to be able to go through that and see the comments. But really the big issue with finances is the decline in revenue due to loss of enrollment. And we've identified 2 areas that we're losing enrollment. One is through open enrollment, more kids going out than in, and the other piece is community school. And a couple of the action steps that my recommendation, in fact, the communications committee has already started on it, and we have a draft for you to look at tonight, is a open enrollment survey, and not just those students that are open enrolling out and getting feedback on why they're open enrolling out, why students are choosing to open enroll out, but also equally as important as why students are choosing to come into Bucyrus. And make sure that we highlight those positives and really try to expand that. There's a piece with school safety that I've already been gathering some information. I've spoke to the chief of police here in town, Ken Teets, talked to Sheriff Kent. We've got some, I'm attending next Wednesday, possibly with Mr. Henderson, to Al's training over at Pioneer on Wednesday. And we're going to bring that information back, have a meeting with Chief Teets, Sheriff Kent, administrators, and get some student representatives, parent representatives, and put together what's called a Safe Schools Action Team that will take a look at our practices, policies, procedures, and see what recommendations we need to do moving forward. The third piece, the realignment piece, is probably the topic that gained the most attention from our community meetings and our staff meetings. The issue is that our space at the elementary school. We're very tight with space. Part of it is because moving preschool to the elementary, and we're looking at several options. One is the possibility of moving 5th grade from the elementary to the secondary building. Option 2, move preschool back to Lincoln. Option 3, move preschool to the secondary building. And option 4, make no moves and just make adjustments to deal with the space issues that we have. And so out of those 4 issues, we'll take a look at the information. My recommendation is, since you're just going to be receiving that information tonight and not wanting to necessarily wait till the end of March, but possibly getting together next week for a special board meeting to have some discussion dialogue that give the board an opportunity to go through and really read up on the comments and gather as much information you can before we make a decision. And a very important decision, but a decision I feel that we should make very soon so that we can get things settled with regards to get preschool applications out to parents, give families some notice, time, if we make any adjustments with the 5th grade. So my recommendation is take a look at something next week. We can either look at now or towards the end of the board meeting to take a look at maybe a possible special board meeting maybe next Thursday night.
We were thinking maybe, we're looking at maybe 6 o'clock just for a half hour. If people are available next Thursday.
And on your
sorry, Paul. Forget that, it's Paul's spring break.
On SharePoint, on your documents for the board meeting tonight, you'll see those of you that were able to log on. And I know you can reach it from home too, but under the February 28th meeting, we uploaded the information today, and I'll just double check and make sure that that document, oh yeah, it is in there. Under the files, you'll see the 2012 packet, February 28th, January 14th organizational meeting, and then there's a PDF of staff, and that should read staff and community feedback. And how you'll know the difference is the community feedback is a double asterisk beside the comments. If there is no asterisk, it's from the staff. So that information's there. You might have to make sure your reading glasses are on because it's pretty tiny print, but you can adjust your screen to blow that up and be able to see the comments. When you open that up, there's 3 columns. The first column is the finance question, the second column is school safety comments, and the third column is the realignment comments. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Did we have anybody that wanted to address the board this evening? Okay. Then we'll go on to personnel certified staff items. Mr. Kinley?
Yes, President Stowe, members of the board, it's my recommendation that the Board of Education approve items A through F under the certified personnel section of the agenda.
Do we have a motion to approve items A through F under the personnel items?
So moved. Support.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. And we'll go to the personnel classified staff items.
President Stowe, members of the board, it is my recommendation that the Board of Education approve items A through C, which include the addendum where we replaced item B and we deleted the original item C. So as you have it there, it's my recommendation the board approve items A through C under the personnel classified staff section.
We have a motion to approve the personnel classified staff items.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
And then we'll go to the business items.
President Stowe, members of the board, it's my recommendation that the board approve items A through J, including J from the addendum under the business section of the agenda.
We have a motion to approve the business items A through J.
So moved. Support.
Any questions, comments?
How soon is the Lincoln building that?
Well, with tonight's approval of the contracts, we'll sign those and notify, we've already notified them that they were the low bidder, but it was pending board approval tonight. So tomorrow we will send the signed contracts to them, and then we'll get a timetable as far as when we get it completed. We stipulated in the contract that the work will be done prior to the start of next school year. We fully anticipate that work beginning relatively soon. In fact, maybe even being done and completed before school gets out this year, depending on their work schedule and the time for the equipment to come in and supplies. The window of opportunity is next 2 to 3 months. And once again, that's monies from our permanent improvement funds that cannot be used for operations, cannot be used to offset salaries or fringes, can only be specified for permanent improvement projects within the district.
I saw on the actual bid submission from Canberra was that there were some exceptions to be made for some of them. Is that we're going to go with recommendations off of what they think for the building to?
Yeah, right now what we're leaning towards, what was spec'd will heat those rooms if the outside temperature gets to 10 degrees. If we decide to do an upgrade, which is a little bit more expensive, not a whole lot, it would give us the guarantee that it could heat the room of temperatures up to, I believe, -15. Now, with the possibility of those being at some point, they may be preschool rooms again. We go to school with 10 degrees outside, we go to school with 0 degrees outside. We don't really think about canceling or delaying school until the wind chill factor gets to -10. My recommendation may be is to potentially do a work order change or change order to do the little bit more high-powered heating units so that we are covered with regards to whatever purposes those rooms may be used for. So there was different bid specs laid out there. I would steer away from one of them was a lighter unit that would only guarantee 20 degrees heat, like if it was 20 degrees outside. If it was colder than 20 degrees, they didn't guarantee that they could heat the room. I don't want to get ourselves in that situation. We're going to spend the money on it. We all make sure that we do it right, even if it means an additional $100 or $200 per unit to make sure that we get the proper heat for those areas.
And even with those changes, they're still under this.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
And I didn't catch, Kevin, we talk about classroom units, but the heating of the gym area,
the heating of the gym's already been taken care of.
Okay.
That was a project that was well below the bid speculations, specs that were required to go out to bid, and that was taken care of prior to the winter season this year because we knew that we couldn't go without any heat on that end of the building. So we actually Kim Brothers, we got a handful of quotes. They were the low bid or low quote person for that, and they were able to get that heating unit in there in place prior to the heavy winter season starting. So that's already been taken care of.
Anybody else?
just want to again reflect on what Ryan had said, that refinancing that bond would save our taxpayers almost $750,000. Is that correct?
Correct, that is correct. Hopefully more.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Go ahead and go to discussion items.
Okay, the first item, independent education evaluation guidelines. That's one piece, and then there's a second piece which is section 504 handbook. I'm going to turn it over and have Mr. Burke explain these two documents to us. It's been in the works for quite a while, and we knew that we had to do some work on our special ed forms, and this is the first start of it. It really puts us in compliance. But I'll turn it over to Mr. Burke and ask him to expand on that.
Thank you, Superintendent Kimmel. The independent education evaluation guidelines, very briefly, is if there are some disagreements after an evaluation is performed on a student, the parent or members of the IEP team could request another evaluation be performed, and there's just the guidelines and steps on how to do that. You know, that's agreed upon by the school district and the parent to pick someone or pick an agency or organization to do that. So we haven't had that situation arise at this point, but we wanted to make sure that we prepared if that request had ever come in. I think more importantly, the most important document.
Just say, Mr. Burke, I know that on the second page of the independent education evaluation guidelines, we had briefly discussed a maximum amount, and in the board documents that they have at the discussion on tonight, that was blank. So we'll need to make sure that we get that information. We're not voting on this tonight, but we'll want to make sure that we get that added into this document that was sent out so that we were on the same page.
Cheryl Mamona from Pebble Wagner did come down. We had a nice conversation, and she gave some suggestions on what that dollar amount has been for other districts that she's used, and I'll make sure that we look at our notes.
I think that was $1,500.
I think it was $1,500, and she felt that was more than sufficient amount of funds to cover that type of assessment.
It's one of those things, we may never have to use this, but it's important to have a policy in place if somebody decides that they don't agree with our evaluation from our school site, that they have an avenue to go to get another independent evaluation done.
The Section 504 documents that you would have gotten in your, I think it was an email or on your computers, it's very lengthy. There's a lot to it. I asked Mr. Kimmel if he wanted to make copies of anything for you, as I didn't want to duplicate efforts, but I'll kind of try to drill it down to what we're doing and why we looked at those documents. There are some students who, well, any person who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more of their major life activities could qualify for a 504. And I know there's a lot of things that we've underlined there, physical or mental impairment that substantially limits. So there's really no guidelines to what really substantially is. It does go on to say that, basically that is if any person is unable to perform a basic life task that an average person can do. And that could be a temporary impairment, someone who's broken a leg or broken a foot who needs some accommodations for their physical impairment at the time. It could be something that's the duration of a year, and it could be something that is a lifelong medical or physical or mental impairment. And this is in place because not all students may meet the qualifications for through IDEA for an through the ETR process to qualify for an IEP. However, some students still do need accommodations within the classroom or within the school building to equally access the educational opportunities that the school provides. And I'm very pleased that when we went through these documents that we do have procedures in place through the RTI process to take a look at students who may need those accommodations. And I know that we have a few students at the elementary right now that were kind of using the information Cheryl Maimona provided for us to start to go down the path of getting them qualified for possibly a 504 accommodation. So really, and there is a flow chart in the documents that you received, and the team would come together, would comprise of maybe members of the RTI, the parents for sure, teachers that the students may have, counselors, principals, anyone involved in that child's education would be a part of that team that would refer a student for the RTI, or I'm sorry, for a 504, and then it kind of runs you through the steps of the team evaluates, there's assessments that need to be performed, possibly medical documentation that needs to be a part of that decision. I feel more comfortable now going through with Cheryl Maimona and the documents that we will be able to follow the steps necessary to make sure that students that do qualify or can qualify, that we do get them evaluated and that we do try to provide the necessary accommodations for them. So I know there's a lot in that document, so I guess I'll take any questions that you might have as far as any of the documents that are in there, or try to explain anything that we've done up to this point.
Will this have any impact on student achievement? And what I mean by it, say you have a student who has trouble reading for whatever reason. You're required to take achievement tests.
Right, and a 504 can offer accommodations that could be reading, your test being read aloud to them, a quiet place to take assessments, one-on-one assessment accommodations. Basically any accommodation a student can receive except for, it's not made to modify the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
It's made to take the curriculum that's offered in the classroom and really
tailor it more to the students.
Tailor it more so the students can access to access that. But yeah, the students on 504s, when those OAAs come up, can have it read aloud, can have frequent breaks, for ADHD, that they can't really sit in one spot for any long period of time. They can take frequent breaks, and that can be an accommodation where they can have the whole day to take the test and take frequent breaks, so that way they don't get overwhelmed by the procedures of testing. So yes, that can be a part of that. Some other accommodations that the policy did state, or that you do have in front of you, would be maybe a modification of the physical PE class, physical education. You can modify that to, if there's a physical impairment, that the content can be modified so they can be a participant in the classroom. Adjust the class schedules, group arrangements, reading materials could be read for them. Homework assignments could be tailored to meet their needs. So those are the things that we try to do for students. One thing we did ask, and I don't believe this is a possibility, with the third grade guarantee. Students that are on IEPs that do have identified learning disabilities can be exempt from the consequences of the third grade guarantee. However, students who receive accommodations would not, through a 504, would not have that afforded to them. And the only main reason I could think there is that a student on an IEP could have the content of the classroom modified to meet their academic levels, so we could work with them. Where a student on a 504 really should have the class content and curriculum offered at the grade level that they're currently at. It's just accommodating that material to really address their needs. So that's the only reason I could think that on a 504 student could not be exempt, because they should actually be doing the content at that grade level. But Cheryl Mamona did need to clarify that and did get back with Kevin and I that they cannot be exempt from the consequence of the third grade guarantee.
So the 504 would have to be in place before they can be able to have that accommodation made for them.
Correct, correct. Now the 504 procedures with the RTI team in place will help us work through the 504 process a little bit smoother and a little bit quicker, because they're already doing some interventions. They have a lot of the information that we would have had to get. Some of the interventions, some of the assessments that we would have to perform have already been done through the RTI process. So having that RTI process in place is really going to help us cut some time out of the timeline that it's going to take to get a student on a 504. So I can see with the RTI's assistance that the 504 process would go through a lot quicker than if someone went through the entire IDEA, ETR, IEP process. So
You'll notice that the policy 2260.01, just a 504 policy, very minor changes there with the old policy. It provides a definition of the individual with disability, but it also gives Mr. Burke the title of District Compliance Officer, so that was an opportunity for him to excel.
yes.
But more importantly, it's the administrative guidelines, which will be the 504 handbook. It's a really clear, I know it's very bulky, but it really outlines exactly what as a district that we need to do to make sure that we're following the law. And so while Neola is good in some areas, we had to really pull this from Helping Wagner to provide the handbook guidance that is needed for our administrative guidelines.
And I like the policy that we have now, and the checklists and everything that was presented really gives it a very scripted what needs to happen and in order and who needs to be involved, which makes it very, I don't say it's easy, it's not an easy process, but it's easy to understand who needs to be involved in the process and steps that need to be taken to get a student qualified for a 504 and then to implement the plan. And we do, just very quickly, I know Mr. Kimmel said 3 minutes, but I know I went over that. We handle 504s very similar to our IEP. We do 1 year we review it every year. It gets addressed and rewritten to meet the student's needs, just like an IEP. They have a case manager that keeps track of the student's 504 and checks in to make sure that the accommodations are being made. And a lot of the 504 accommodations are done by the regular ed teacher in the regular ed class. It's not the sole job of an intervention specialist to provide those accommodations. So a 504 student, or a student on a 504 is in the traditional classroom with the traditional curriculum, and the accommodations are performed through the regular ed teacher.
The next item on our list for discussion tonight is Ohio's new learning standards in ELA, mathematics, science, and social studies. For Exhibit K, Mrs. Stanfield provided a little bit of a background and step-by-step clarification of why we're considering adopting the new learning standards. And so I would turn it over to Mrs. Stanfield now to add any comments or to answer any questions that we may have regarding this.
House Bill 1, the amended one, asked us to update our state standards, and at that time, they were called the Common Core for reading and math, and then revised standards for science and social studies. And the last time they had new standards was in 2001 and 2002. So what we're bringing forth for the discussion tonight is that Bucyrus City Schools adopt the new learning standards, which encompass all four content areas that the state has adopted in 2010, as well as what goes along with that is in 2011, the state put together model curriculum for teachers to implement as well. So we have been asking our teachers to implement these new standards. And so, I had to looking, and I guess we should have done this prior, but we'd like to see that our board adopts the state and new learning standards, which align with what we're being asked to do nationally and PACE. And our new assessments are all based on that, which is going to be reflected in our report cards, and one thing fits with another, so.
Any questions for Ariel? Okay. The next discussion item is bring your own technology policy, and what this provides is an opportunity for a student or a staff member to bring a device into the school district and hook to our network. And in doing so, we have to make sure that we're protecting our network and making sure that there's certain things that are allowed, not allowed to be on that device when they hook up to our network. So what this does, it clearly identifies what would be acceptable to be able to bring in, and what the student or staff member would need to sign, which is an acceptable use policy, but also gives the authority for that device to be checked to make sure that it doesn't have any viruses or anything that may cause disruption to our network. Once that device is checked through our tech department, we'll be given a tag to be able to not have to be rechecked every time it's brought back in the district and up to the network. So this is just really staying up on the times of whether it's a cell phone that has internet capabilities, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a laptop, whatever device that somebody may want to hook into the network, this provides us the opportunity to allow that to happen. So it's on for your discussion tonight. As long as you can get into the proper network. And
I think it's a good policy. I could bring mine and I just couldn't get connected. So thank you, Mr. Cook, for bringing it.
So a student or a staff member could still bring their own device, and if they were on their own 4G network, they could still access the internet that way.
They could access it through the cellular.
Right. But if they wanted to access any files that teachers had or the district had, they would need access to our network. And therefore, we need this policy in place to make sure that our network is safe.
That's correct. That device is safe that can hook up to that. So, yeah. And the other interesting piece, and a lot of our staff members have went to the smartphone, and the policy that you approved last month, there's a provision in there that says that if you access your school email through your personal device, that your phone needs to be locked. So when I swipe my phone, a keypad comes up and I have to put a code in, and that's required now. And we've covered that with the administrative team. We have not covered that with our staff yet. I know we have staff that have emails come to their personal device, and if it's not locked, the potential is there that student data could be at jeopardy of being seen by eyes outside of the people that should see it. So it's critical that we get communications out to our staff, and we'll be doing that here soon to make sure, just to remind them that with the policy in effect now, they need to make sure that they're locking their device. And to be quite honest with you, if an employee were to leave the district, that device would need to be checked by our tech department to make sure that no student files or student information left the district with that employee that would no longer be working in the district. So those are the items so far for your consideration for next month's board meeting. And the last item, the good thing is that, well, when we met 6 weeks ago, We did not have a swimmer going to the state swim meet. As you can see, this is an after the fact approval of an overnight trip. And it was for Terrence to swim in the state track meet. So I would ask for your consideration to have a recommendation to approve Exhibit M, which is to provide them the authority to stay overnight for the state.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Schieffer?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Okay, the last item, item E, the Ohio School Board Association Central Region Dinner. I've received, I believe, so far 2 that they could attend, and a regret from Paul to have a conflict that night. So if you could check your calendars, let me know. I can have Tina RSVP for our group. So I know that Doug is yes, Sandy's a yes, Ryan and I are yeses. Brad and Am, I need to know from you.
I won't be able.
Brad, you know?
More than likely, yes.
Okay. I'll put you down for yes. If it changes, let me know.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and go to communications. Is everybody okay next Thursday at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Do a quick board meeting? And another thing I was going to ask, ask you guys if we could change the regular board meeting in March from the 26th to the 21st.
You guys have conferences that night? Are you doing
26th to the 21st.
those conferences?
It was the 26th.
How would you do it? Correct. Chip Bird. You ever have a board meeting on the 26th?
If you have a conflict,
Yeah,
it's some excuse for
Better way. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense.
Well, because I'm gonna be gone the next week,
Oh,
so.
yeah. You got your allowance for this.
I know, right? He doesn't know yet, but I'm out at the
Apparently he's
office.
out.
I just learned.
Boss is working.
You're gonna go look for an
I can do
iPad.
it.
You're gonna go look for an iPad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find me an iPad. It's gonna take me about a week.
21st?
Yeah,
Same time?
yeah, 7 o'clock.
Alright, sounds good.
Okay, well then our regular meeting for March will be Thursday, the 21st at 7, and then we'll have a special meeting next Thursday, the 7th at 6. Any other communications or announcements from anybody? Anyone? Okay, do I have a motion to recess to executive session per ORC 121.22 for the purpose of the employment of an employee?
Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Murray? Yes. Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.